the strawweight bout, Tisha Torres versus Angela Hill. Main event, not main event, actually, co-main event for UFC 189, July 11th in Vegas for the UFC Welterweight Championship. Robbie Lawler defends the title against Rory McDonald. So McDonald finally getting that title shot. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Co-main event to that card. Of course, the main event for that one, Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo for the Featherweight Championship. So that'll bring us to this weekend, UFC 184 from Los Angeles. The main event, Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus Kat Zingano for the Women's Bantamweight Championship. Was supposed to be Chris Weidman versus Vitor Belfort, but Weidman's too scared to take the fight, so we luckily have Ronda to step up and save the card instead of having to cancel another show in Los Angeles. Also on the card, a couple fights to just briefly mention. Welterweight bout, Jake Ellenberger versus Josh Koscheck. The co-main event is a women's bantamweight bout. Number 12, Raquel Pennington, welcoming to the UFC number 13, Holly Holm, who's coming over from boxing. She's 7-0 as a mixed martial artist, so with the win, she puts herself right in the mix for a title shot because Ronda's beating everybody else and she needs new challengers. So if Holly Holm can look good and win, also depending on what happens with Cyborg this weekend, we could find out who Ronda will fight after this one. And I'm already looking forward to Ronda's next fight because I don't think Kat Zingano has any chance of beating Ronda Rousey. Ronda 10-0, Kat 9-0. So one of them is getting a loss, and that one will be Kat Zingano.
I assume she's an underdog. Obviously.
Yeah, of course she's an underdog. I haven't checked what the odds have been lately, but I would imagine it's a pretty big underdog. So for
bigger,
you, maybe
bigger than Miesha Tate?
Probably not. Actually, okay. I think more people have bought into the hype that Kat Zingano can win than they did with Miesha, because everybody saw Miesha lose already to Ronda. But there's a lot of people are buying into Kat's wrestling, and that's going to be this big thing, and she's a pretty good big sized girl. She's not fat, but she's got like broad shoulders. Is
that what you say on the online dating sites? Oh, you're a good sized girl.
You're a big sized girl, but she's got a big build to her. So
stop saying that.
What? She's pretty jacked.
You're doing yourself no favors right now.
I don't care. So, but I just don't see it. I've watched both of her UFC fights, and both times I've watched her fight, I said the exact same thing, and that's Ronda Rousey would destroy this girl. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. If it gets out of the first round, it's because Ronda wants to fight, for a little bit. Her last fight was 16 seconds, so she wants to get in there and just have some fun for a little bit and beat up Kat a little bit before she goes in for the armbar and finishes the fight. But I just don't see any way that Kat Zingano wins this fight. Ronda Rousey is just in a completely different class than all these girls, and it's not even close. So
what are you going to do? You going to find like an Olympic wrestler, Olympic martial artist or something to bring in?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody. Right now, there's nobody that can beat her.
Can I suggest they do a no holds barred, and Dana starts having battle of the tough women, looking for his Zeus?
Dana kind of joked that she might have to start fighting men.
I think depending on the man, I would be okay. In that case, I would be fearful for Mighty Mouse.
Oh,
Mighty Mouse would have to use his speed, but I would be fearful. But obviously,
Mighty Mouse loves white women though. So would he just let her grab him and throw him around a little bit?
It's a serious question. Herb may be into that as well.
Exactly. So,
well, we really have sort of almost breezed through the show as we were requested to do.
We're professionals. That's what we do.
We're something, all right.
We're giving it a time period. We hit our mark. We know when to take it home.
Take it home. That's right.
So we'll see what happens. But next week, I'll be talking about how Ronda Rousey is still the women's bantamweight champion. And I think we got a little couple-week break period before we have another one.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing on the 7th. And then
we spoil us.
And we come back on March 14th. So we got there'll be one weekend without UFC before we go to UFC 185. 2 title fights, strawweight and lightweight championship from Dallas, March 14th. So nothing to talk about next week, just what happened at UFC 184.
Fantastic. Oh, I suppose as a follow-up to the Samoa Joe stuff, apparently he is going to be doing some Ring of Honor shows.
Yes. I think he's got to sign on for like 5 dates.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know. Did they? Are people just speculating, or did they really announce him and Alberto, him and Jay Lethal?
I don't know.
Josh, you know anything?
I haven't heard anything about actual matches booked, other than he is appearing at Living on the Edge in Watertown, New York, against AR Fox.
He's got to kill AR Fox.
It's going to be great. It's going to be tremendous.
And then NXT.
What's the thing? I think some people are confusing. They think that he signed with Ring of Honor. There's zero chance he signed a contract with Ring of Honor. He's just
got a deal to do a few dates. He's probably doing very much what Del Rio signed with them, what AJ's got
like
with
Roderick
them.
Strong. Like you work show to show. You don't sign any long term deal. He'd be stupid to sign a long term deal.
You think he's going to Japan?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it up.
I would. Yeah, I mean, he would fit right in. So it's a possibility.
Or do you think he's going to do some sort of thing in NXT and then transition to be a trainer and stuff like that? Or does he want to wrestle a full-time or close to a full-time?
No, he's going to wrestle. He's not being a trainer. He's going to wrestle.
So Joe Fatu coming to an NXT taping?
Joe Uso.
If he doesn't get an NXT deal, then that's when he'll sign with like a New Japan or something.
Jimmy J and Joe Uso.
If he gets confirmation that there's nothing that's going to work out there.
Is he really Samoan?
Didn't you ask this last week?
Yes, and I didn't get an answer. Is he really Samoan? Because he's not part of the family.
I never looked into it. Let's check.
Why don't you investigate that? It's something that I'm really sure. By the way,
look at his name. Of course, he's Samoan. I can't even pronounce his name.
He could be Hawaiian or something.
Maybe.
Anyway, what was this thing I saw on YouTube that Scott Steiner was in TNA, and Scott Steiner was the ring announcer, and Booker and Nash were on commentary? What the hell was that? It was terrible, whatever it was. Must have been something where the Main Event Mafia took over Impact, or
not listening to you. I'm trying to read something. So
anything? Did anybody have any? If anybody has anything, tweet me at Nick Gator, all one word. What do you got?
Is Polynesian part of Samoa?
I think the Polynesian Islands, Samoa is part of the Polynesian Islands. That's where they used to.
And I think he's Samoan.
That's where they used to bill Yoko from.
Yeah, so he's Samoan.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, Polynesia is a sub-region of Oceania made up of over 1,000 islands scattered across the Pacific Ocean. So very quickly, after several years of discussing a grouping, so this includes Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu. So you can be Polynesian and not necessarily be Samoan. So there you go. And he may have adopted some Samoa Joe because of the obvious, wrestling.
It looks like this Intercontinental title thing's getting interesting.
Oh, do you want to give us a SmackDown spoiler?
I'll just read what the beginning says. Daniel Bryan kicks off SmackDown with an in-ring promo. He talks about WrestleMania 31, but is interrupted by Bad News Barrett, who insults Bryan and Dean Ambrose. Ambrose comes out and they brawl. Bryan picks up the IC title belt and handed it to Barrett, but just to distract him. Ambrose and Bryan double-team Barrett. Barrett dropped the title and ran off, leaving Ambrose and Bryan to celebrate with the title. So Daniel Bryan's going to get added to this IC title thing.
So are we actually going to see John Cena and Daniel Bryan competing for the secondary titles at WrestleMania?
I think so.
Goodness gracious. Well, I think...
Well, that's exactly what you need to do. You elevate those two titles, and then you make the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt.
If Bryan can't get a main event match with anybody else, that would be the next best thing to do, is put him in one of these matches and help that title.
I mean, I know I'm not saying anything that I haven't said before, but they should have been doing that for the last 6 or 8 months with Lesnar being off television so much. But
so that ladder match I joked about for the WWE title, what if you do that with the Intercontinental title?
You could do that.
You do 6 guys and Money in the Bank style ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
And then someone wins, and then Finn Balor comes out and pins him.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or Finn Balor's in the match and he wins the title.
That's fine. I honestly think for his when he really does debut, I think they're going to do some video for him.
want to make the Intercontinental Championship interesting. Give it the hardcore championship.
24/7.
Yeah. And then we got to hear about all the bitching online about how it's killing the title and it's
but it's gonna be great because you'll have people that are like 14-time, 20-time. I think they need to have an Intercontinental title unification match and bring in Nakamura.
Oh, Renee Young interviews Ambrose backstage.
Of course she does.
Right.
You can insert another verb instead of interviews.
Lana and Rusev come out for a promo to mock John Cena. Jack Swagger interrupted, but Rusev ended up beating him down. Rusev put Swagger the accolade as the Russian flag jumped over the ring.
How many times have you seen that?
Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett is next. R-Truth was on commentary.
Wait a minute. Wait, Rusev put Swagger? He put Swagger in the accolade.
Yes, the accolade.
The accolade, yeah.
Good job,
R-Truth was on commentary and ended up stealing Barrett's title belt. Bryan got the win with the running knee. After the match, Barrett looked around for his title, but had no idea what happened to it. So Dean Ambrose...
follow this. Barrett lost another non-title contest. How embarrassing is this? This is terrible.
So Ambrose lost the title. Barrett got it back. Truth steals the title, and now R-Truth finds Ambrose backstage and gives him the IC title belt.
Come on.
Fandango defeated Curtis Axel. Axel now has a... Hold on. Axel now has a clock that shows how long he's been in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, like...
That is fantastic.
That's like the hunkometer.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, you don't have
Who is it? Was it one of you guys that mentioned that they should have a thing where Axel should... I read somewhere that somebody joked that Axel should somehow be stopped from participating in the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2 so that he can keep that. You just keep the gimmick going. He's only in Battle Royals, but he can't actually make it into the match. He can't
be in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2 because that happened 29 years ago.
No, he's saying to... No,
I know what he's saying.
Listen to you.
But there was a Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2.
Also, Dean Ambrose defeated The Miz.
Good. All that works. You don't have to see SmackDown this week. We have
I don't know what the main event's going to be, but...
The whole fucking card. Brock and Roman for the title. Brock is dropping the title to Roman tonight, leaving the company.
That'd be awesome. Big E and Xavier Woods beat the Ascension in a dark match.
Wow, the Ascension are done. How long did it take? A month? 2 months?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, tomorrow night...
Remember that thing I mentioned about the Californians? The Ascension are the Californians of wrestling.
That was very accurate. The Californian sucks. It is the worst recurring sketch I can remember in the history of SNL.
And that's saying
there have been some recurring things that I wasn't into, but this is the worst. And it gets a lot of airtime because they can have guest appearances and... Yeah.
They got to do like 6 different parts of the skit in one shooting.
Yeah, but I guess they don't do that on the show anymore because Fred Armisen left. So
and Kristen Wiig.
Yeah. So and Bill Hader.
So the whole fucking skit got ruined because they all left.
I guess because they were able to bring in Taylor Swift, Bradley Cooper, Kerry Washington, Betty White, but it got like 10 minutes on the show, which is like
they needed a filler.
It was like 10 times what Eddie Murphy got.
Or wanted.
Or wanted. 73 seconds. $100 million per second for Pluto Nash. Go over budget. That was a terrible movie.
Let's go home.
Okay, we're going home. Kyoto told me to go home because he's the senior ref. He's been there the longest, and he gets the big matches, the main events. He got the main event.
Big matches? Who counted the biggest 3-count in WrestleMania history?
Who made the biggest mistake in WrestleMania history?
I'm just saying, though. You said the biggest matches.
The biggest mistake in WrestleMania history. He cost The Undertaker the streak. By the way, the only way this whole thing makes sense is if Wyatt goes over. If Taker beats Wyatt, there's no point.
Yeah, then we're just fucking...
The streak doesn't... And leading up to what we want to do, Taker comes out and says he's got nothing left, he's a broken man, and then Sting comes out and says we have unfinished business. WrestleMania star. Okay, we're going home. Someone's got to be up early to do something. Josh, where can the people find you?
The people can find me on Twitter at Amplified to Rock. They could also find me on the Brothers of Destruction podcast with my brother Aaron the Brain. They can give us a follow